Hey everyone, this is JesterMan7 giving you the final Beginner Protectorate campaign tutorial against Savage Tundra. So I'll be going over Savage Tundra mostly, giving you a heads up on what they play. And also, of course, that means we will be going over the other battle group that I'm using, which is a Sundered Lands Mixed Battle Group. I'll try and focus mostly on Savage Tundra though, but I will get into them in more detail, of course, as we face harder Savage Tundra decks and when I use a Savage Tundra deck of my own. But basically, of course, on this intro level, you'll see they already have the font off this way, which means you're forced to go to this one right away. But I'm not too concerned in going there right away. Throw our Dune Walker down and give her Tunnel. She's just short of AP. That's okay, we'll do it later. Anyway, back to Savage Tundra. Savage Tundra is basically known, of course, for being the cold, frost, sub-zero type unit. A couple things you'll have to look out for when using them is that they will use a lot of area of effect type spells in order to get across their advantages and cause you disadvantages. One of the things that Savage Tundra is also known for a lot is their range. They have one of the best range arsenals by far. And what I mean by that is that when you're playing against some like Shardseer, what's her name, like the Queen with her equipment, you know, they can do a lot of range damage. They do have some decent tanks. They don't have a lot of melee beater type damage, but as far as actual tanks, they're definitely solid. They even know they have the giant flying ice thing, whatever his name is, and they have the Fairy Ninja, which has some great distraction type things. You know, when they do it to you. Also, some things to look out for is the different races that they possess. You'll have Jakai. You will also have different they do the bees, they have the Yetis, they have the new Farons, of course, as I just mentioned, which you have to look out for. And chilled, as you can see right here, chilled and frozen. That is probably one of the biggest things they will constantly do to you. And then also what you have to look out for is the amplification of frost damage, because like units like the Vanguard heal every time the unit takes frost damage. So it just doubles up and adds on to you. The good and bad about Savage Tundra is all the things I just said sound good. So if you're playing as them and you want to take the time to learn about them, you know, they're definitely good and capable. You know. The problem with those type of things is that they're very hard to execute efficiently. And what I mean by that is that it's very hard you know, to definitely plan out your area of effect spells while also, you know, doing like your basic gameplay, because they're not straightforward at all. So my personal strategy when I go against them is I like to, you know, to kind of run straight forward and avoid the rush. They have some decent spells, but most of their spells are based upon their you know, how do you say, like the snow and ice type spells, which some of their spells benefit their people and some of them hurt your people. Then they have ice, which you can see right now. If you're on it, you'll kind of slide around and stuff like that. So it's just kind of an annoyance messing. You're not going to be taking like 10 damage a turn or anything like that from it, but it will mess you up while at the same time amplifying their people, which is most important. A brief rundown of my mixed battle group is that it is not a sand battle group. There's a clarification. There is a difference between those. With the sand battle group, there are some better sand options to utilize the sand bonuses, but I thought it'd be fun to do a mixed battle group and show you some of the things that they like to do. The Furpin is kind of annoying because he can do his constriction ability. On this level, you won't have to worry about too much, just like with the other levels. As far as quality of opponent. But they do give you a good rundown of what it's like to go up against a Savage Tundra opponent. You'll also notice my drone just hatched for the mix, and that creates a whole new sand area around him. Sand Veil is what it is. Wanted to make sure I had their name right. Part of the reason I chose them on this is to show the kind of new, as you'll see right here with my mouse, is the new terrain overlay which just started, which is nice if you're playing like a sand or you're doing overlays on your own, because then you can walk over water and such, which is kind of fancy. See, they got this right here, the little trap, what you saw last turn. Not too big of a deal. We'll go ahead and attack anyway, because we're not in their range. Might as well do the 5 damage. However, we don't want him to die, so we'll back him up just a bit. The Hive is going to do some damage for us, though. Go ahead and put our Matriarch there. The Matriarchs are interesting because, well, they don't really succeed in a straight up sand battle group. They have some great distraction and defensive abilities with both Soothing Serenade and Cocoon. As this turn, I'm going to go ahead and Cocoon that unit. And you'll see all of a sudden that they're incapable for a couple turns, which allows me to give my guys room to grow. Go ahead. Don't be worried if your drones die if you play a mixed battle group. They don't have a lot of health and they're summoned for free anyway. But as you build up that mixed battle group, all of a sudden you can start hatching one every single turn. Down to 9 damage. Go ahead and use Acid Storm. She destroys it. Also revealed a stealthed unit here. almost every turn. I like using my dune walker for trail sand and tunnel sand. Tunnel sand is actually really great because of the fact that when you give it to them, they get 7 spaces instead of the standard 6 that they can transport to. You look over here, I already have 1, 2, 3 guys at full health, just waiting for this unit to hatch basically, and then I can destroy it. Then from there, of course, we'll move forward. Savage Tundra also has longs. And Beast, which are popular as well. Not as popular as a normal. Savage Tundra basically met as kind of a mix of everything. Some of the mix of their great tanks and beaters, and then a lot of range. And once again, they really focused on the ice stuff. What that means, of course, is when you're going against them, you're going to end up frozen and stuff a lot. So you just can't really worry about that. They destroyed my matriarch, but that's okay because I just destroyed their guy. And we've got a bunch of little guys right here. We can go ahead and move along. I'm also going to send a dune walker with them in order for the sand bonus that you see right there. He's kind of overwhelming us here. So instead, I'm just going to grant him tunnel sand. At least now for this turn, you'll see he is in their font zone. So if they kill him next turn, they'll lose that one turn of Nora. Which might not seem as big of a deal when you're going against the AI, but against rank play it will. And of course you'll notice I can walk on water because of it. What I have found on this level is once not completely scripted is I'll either throw a bunch of guys at this northern font where my mouse is and go down, or they'll kind of split them and try and do both. And as you saw that time, they kind of split them, and send like the Furpin down right away. But I mean that leaves a wide open area for me. When this way I have these guys here. They're spending their time attacking the font, which is great for now. Go ahead and put our sand snipe down here. Also equip him with Rage Band. So he has Berserker, Careless, and Unstoppable, as you'll see. And with her, I will Serenade him. He's pacified. And I will cocoon the other one. So these guys over here are free to just run right up. Could have used charge from farther back, but I was just moving them all up on this turn. Go ahead and move the Dune Walker all the way. Give one of them Trail Sand so next turn the sand will come into play again. You'll notice as of right now, half the area is about sand on a snow level where Savage Tundra is using snow spell, so that works out pretty well. That can actually be a good counter to Savage Tundras if you can do your terrain effects of your own. It's just about the timing and which one's going to overlap which. On this level, they basically use a bunch of beasts with some few random Jakai. So it's not, of course, their strongest deck like most of these beginner ones are. But we'll get into some of the other stuff that they can do later on to you. Attack with him. He's probably going to die next turn. Just go ahead and give some bonuses out. Because these guys over here are the ones really attacking. You'll notice that the Broodlord does acid damage. So we'll throw our skull right there. Let them just start attack. No, I messed her up with the jump, unfortunately. To wait another turn with her. One of the things that's nice is that if you play a long-term game with mix, is that they have, quick hitting and stuff. So you can have, 3 or 4 regular little guys, the drones over here attacking twice per turn, which is going to do, without any modifications right now, 18 damage. Go ahead and let them do their thing over here, because we pretty much have it over here thanks to the 3 drones and the mixed Broodlord. Because of the sand, she's getting a bonus. Go ahead and use quickening this turn. Just to get some extra damage going. He has his high defense right now, so we're not really doing any good with there. But it's okay because we have all of our little willing drones right here to attack. Which can definitely become an annoyance to your opponent. We'll go into Savage Tundra more when I use them. And when we go against harder units than what they're currently displaying. Because right now it's not even an accurate, showing of what you're going to face when you actually go against Savage Tundra units. Because no one's going to be using all these many beasts with no range and not really utilizing the spells. So otherwise, hopefully we gave you guys a good rundown of Savage Tundra and a mixed Sundered Lands. And if you have any battle questions, let me know, and we'll do more in the upcoming ones.